This is All Access MMA.
It is so great catching up with my next guest, and it's been a while since we've done an interview, but he's got a huge fight coming up here against Sabah Homasi at Bellator 273, January 29th. Jaleel Willis back here on the program. Jaleel, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, brother. Happy to be back.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. You're in the car, which, by the way, is a great place to do an interview. The lighting's good and it's quiet. But where are you heading to? Or are you getting back from somewhere? Where am I getting you today?
Mine, I'm in a line to pick up my kids, bro. Crazy.
Oh,
I gotta
gotcha.
get an hour early just so I won't be here in this traffic all afternoon. You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. My kid goes to preschool, so I got to get there at a good time or I won't get a parking spot. So I'm all about that life too, man. I get it for sure. But let's talk about your fight here. Again, notable guy here in Sabah Homasi. When did you find out? It looked like you got a full camp for this one.
Yeah, man. I honestly, I called for the fight. So I had like a real long time to get ready for this one. Really, soon as I think we started kind of looking at Homasi probably probably a little bit after Halloween once we realized that I was healthy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and told my coaches, I want to bounce back and I want to bounce back in a big way, you know what I mean? And I felt like, this is somebody who I've dissected for years, you know what I mean? So like I want to go for that one. You know what I mean? Let me show Bellator that I'm still like the guy who should be within that top 10 contention, you know what I mean? And so I can be working towards title contention,
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How are you not ranked? I couldn't. I just went and looked at the rankings. I thought, okay, he's got to be up here. No, you're not on the rankings with your record, 15-3. Were you surprised by that?
Man, it's like, to be honest, I was surprised that they had me in the rankings to begin with, with me being so new coming off the scene. And once, Paul Daly had kind of shook the rankings up, I kind of seen how it is, once some of the veterans started to flow back in and, they kind of level stuff out because I seen Homasi ended up losing and he was kind of like in that top 8, and turned around lost again. So I felt like it was only obvious that they just kind of had to go by the system or whatever system it is they go by, But that's another reason why I'm like, shit, the ranking system, this or that, I know the people who I can pick off, you know what I mean? It's like, let me just go for those, and I know they pretty big names anyway, too.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. You kind of referenced the last fight. I know it's never fun to talk about a loss, but what did you learn the most from that fight?
I ain't just like, I'm right there where, right there where I want to be at. It's just like a few things that I need to kind of, tweak a bit as far as like my count. And they was like small things, honestly, So,
No worries. You getting a call?
yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. You're a popular guy. I get it.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's just not give me an option that ended.
Oh, no worries. Just yeah, I edit this anyway, so it's all good. Just whenever you get your video back up, you can there you go. So you're just saying sort of what you learned from that last fight, I guess was what you're saying.
Basically, yeah, with that last fight, I learned that I'm right where I want to be, just small changes I need to make. And I was happy those changes didn't involve me like switching counts or stuff like that. A lot of that just involved me paying attention to detail and having, my coaches pay a little bit more attention to detail to our game plan as far as like being more offensive,
Yeah, no, completely understand that. Let's talk about Homasi. This has got fight of the night written all over. I mean, he's a guy that's going to bring it. How do you look at this fight from a style perspective?
I know. I kind of look at it as like, he has his traps that walk you right into like almost like his knockouts, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're traps that I already see coming, like when he's out there fighting. And now that I'm able to like film every weekend, it's like it's stuff that's kind of just working perfectly for me. Like just watching his traps and watching how my offense and a lot of the stuff that I do very, very well as far as like controlling And you know, in the later rounds, a lot of that's gonna flow right into my book.
Training camp, how's that been going, and who have been some of the main guys you've been working with ahead of this camp, or ahead of this fight, I should say?
Man, a lot of the main guys I've been working with, more so like Danny Barlow, and you know, Andy Eric, Brian Hall. Man, it's like a lot of it's still been, you know, pretty homegrown. You know what I mean? It's like getting in there with a couple of, you know, the boxers here in town. You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of my training is still the same as far as like training partners and stuff like that. But those are like my main ones, like Danny Barlow, Angelo Leachman, Andy Eric, Brian Hall, Kevin Pease. You know, it can really keep going up and keep stacking. Honestly, you know, I got quite the bodies and the challenges that I need to keep me from having to go to like a super gym or some shit.
Yeah, and we've seen time and time again. I mean, some of the best fighters aren't at super gyms, right? They're just with the team that got them there. And I mean, you've won more fights than you've lost, right? So obviously, working with the team has benefited you as well. Kind of on that same note, who's going to be making the trip with you as far as your cornerman for this fight?
And for my corners, I got Kevin Pease, Danny Barlow, and Brian Hall, my corners for these. And I think that's a solid crew, you know,
Yeah.
that's, you know, clicked all, you know, just clicked all the way together. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like we need nothing more, I
Yeah.
should say.
No, I like it. How do you envision the fight playing out on January 29th? How do you see it unfolding?
Man, I really see it's like more so of me showing people that not only can I weather the storm, but I can come with my own thunder as well. You know what I mean? It's like I'm really ready to show people that his traps are not going to be enough to solve the puzzle. You know, so I know his veteran status is like that, but like I said, man, I'm looking to bounce back. I'm looking to bounce back in a big way. And this one, man, I'm really seeing myself as like, wow, he's setting up those traps. I'm being able to get them out there and looking like the second round, you know, even the third round, you know what I mean? It's like second, third round, I'm looking at breaking them within there to where he starts to look for a way out the door.
Love it. Okay, man. And obviously we're at the start of the year. I imagine you want to get 3 fights in this year, 4 if possible. Is that kind of what you're looking at for your schedule this year?
Yeah, man. It's like 100% looking at, you know, 3 solid fights. You know what I mean? It's like 3 good solidified fights where I'm showing, you know, Scott Coker and the guys that like, hey, this dude need to be fucking headlining one of our cards next, you know?
Yeah, no, I love it, man. And that was kind of going to be my next question. Like, we've done a ton of interviews, but they mainly been before you got to Bellator. How's it been now since you've been there for a while? You're a guy that I know you could have probably gone to the UFC, but Bellator's showing you some love and been really working with you. How's it been being part of that organization, especially with some of the changes they've made recently, like being on Showtime?
Man, dope. Fucking dope. 100% dope. It's like, tell Scott and Mike them all the time, it's like, bro, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's like, because I could have easily went with the deal that the UFC had, but Bellator showed me like so much just love. I'm like, I'm more than happy to turn around and show y'all the same amount of love back and give y'all exciting fights and fucking, you know, top dollar fucking knockouts. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what I'm trying to get to, bro. It's like, they made it so comfortable for me to where I'm like, bro, let's just open up and start fucking giving them folks these heads on a platter, taking everything we can get, eating every day.
Love it, man. And you know, I talked about Showtime there. They obviously do a lot of boxing fights. Is that something that would ever interest you, taking a boxing fight for Showtime?
Yeah, man. It's like, I was like, honestly, before I was even before I fought Vinicius for the world title fight, that was my plan for the year. Like, going next year was to be getting ready for, you know, like boxing matches from there. So I wanted to box and I wanted to move from there, and I still want to box. You know, it's like it just once I won that world title, kind of opened up a whole another fucking can of whatever, can of whoop ass, I guess I could say, that I needed to fucking see what's up on. You know.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. Jaleel, thanks for doing this, man. We'll definitely do this more often than a couple of years apart of interviews, but just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout outs, I'll give you the last word.
Man, more so Donnie Morrow. So I just really want to thank him. So they always been there for me, taking care of me, and all my other sponsors. I 100% appreciate y'all. And you can catch me on Twitter at Jaleel Willis 1. You can catch me on everything else at J Willis MMA.